Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Choices Life Coaching. And our topic today, Choices Life Coaching and Jennifer's Perspective. And our topic today is keeping financial records. Okay. And that is something that I think most of us don't like to discuss, but it is part of what? Building the business or growing the business and keeping everything organized. Hi, Martel. Thanks for joining. And this is for new coaches and new entrepreneurs. When it comes to keeping your financial records, one of the cornerstones of good money management is keeping good financial records. And I say that to say, as the saying goes, you don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. And this statement couldn't be more true when it comes to what? Money management, the M word, the finances. We all want money. We all need money. We all want our businesses to grow. But are we being responsible when it comes to our finances? Are we keeping everything in order so that when it comes to the taxes and getting the paperwork and the document to the CPA or to the accountant, do you have your financial records in order? And I think that this is something that needs some attention. So, in this section, we will be talking specifically about keeping your financial records. However, it is important to maintain, and it is important to mention that you should actually, let's see. Let me just fix this so that I'm not sharing that. So that as you keep your financial records in order, oh, darn, did I just close that? Give me 1 minute. When it comes to keeping your financial records in order, if you wish to keep them in the home, it is a good idea to acquire let's see, they have those little fireproof safes, and you can get that like at a Home Depot, or you can get that at a Staples or Target. Now, with the flood proof safe, you're keeping these documents. Alternatively, you may want to utilize a safe deposit box or a small safe deposit box that that can cost you as little as $1 per month at the local financial institution, say your local bank. And for adults in the household, you should be aware that the extents of any important documents and where they're located. Now, examples of important documents may include ownership papers, saving bonds, loan documents, credit agreements, or passports, personal records, divorce papers, or anything that shows that has either your identity on it or is an important document that you need to present for ID. Okay. And with that, you can also, when it comes to that, keeping your financial records in order, paying your bills. And I think paying your bills on time is a part of financial responsibility. And that would be an impossible task for anyone who isn't taking the time to keep their financial records straight. Now, this puts you in an endless cycle of uncertainty. And I say that to say this: always trying to guess what expenses are either coming and having either no means of accurately estimate accurately estimate those numbers. Also consider that without keeping track of the bills, that you'll always be at the mercy of whomever is billing you. Now, without knowing what your electric bill usually is this time of the year, it's summer, right? So with that, it's going to go up a little bit. Why? Because we use the AC a little bit more during the summertime. And this is true of any business that bills you for, say, goods and services. Keeping records of your bills and expenses, this gives you a means to audit your usage and to be certain that you aren't being overcharged. And I can say that to say what? Because creating a folder for each bill, whether it is paper or electronic, whether you do electronic, it's wise to create folders and keep copies of your past bills. Now, you can choose to create a physical folder and store these bills in a cabinet either at home, so that you can create a digital folder on your computer and then store the soft copies in a file cabinet. Either way, it's important to have that history. Now, keeping soft copies, technology being what it is today, the idea of keeping physical files is becoming increasingly antiquated, and many people are opting to receive their phone bill, light bill, or any invoices via email. And for the cable bill, they send everything electronically now. They're cutting out, like, do you see when you go to pay that bill that it says opt in for paperless? Okay, so this is certainly a great option as it creates less clutter in the home, and it makes the files easier to find and to access. Now, with that, there are two advantages, and that strongly increases the likelihood of a person maintaining their financial records. Now, should you decide to keep soft copies of the bills, be certain to always shred them. Any physical documents before discarding them, and to always use a strong password with your email account. And taking such measures will greatly reduce your chances of being targeted for identity theft. And keeping hard copies while keeping soft copies for records can help expedite things. And hi, Vanessa, thanks for joining. Ultimately, it's a personal choice, and it depends on the individual person, preferences, and level of comfort. Now, should you decide to keep hard copies, be sure to take the time to organize your documents well and putting your documents into categories and giving them like individual folders. And having your documents in a disorganized bunch defeats the purpose of the record keeping. So you'll always have an extremely difficult time locating those documents if you are not organized. Now, reviewing your bills as financial counselors, I always recommend that if you need a financial coach, believe it or not, they do have financial coaches, and a financial coach and a money management coach. These people will help you to organize your finances and your expenses. Now, when it comes to reviewing your bills, one of the things that we hear often from clients is that they do not review their statements. Now, in fact, as people get into, like, say, financial trouble, it means many stop opening their bills altogether. Have you ever seen those movies where what movie was that? I can't even remember the name of the movie. But oh yes, I remember the name of the movie. I think it was Girls Trip. I think I watched that over the weekend, and I think, was it Queen Latifah? Well, she played this character that was a journalist, or she had like a social media company or something like that, and she was behind in her bills or something. And basically, the bills just kept on coming, and at one point, she just stopped opening the mail altogether. Why? Because everything was past due. Now, this is a huge mistake. Why? We cannot stress enough how important it is for you to review your bills each and every month. And the vast majority of companies are not deliberately trying to overcharge you, but mistakes do happen. And it is important that you always review your bills, even if you are behind in the payment. Open the letter, read it, and see what it says. So, to be certain that all charges and credits are accurate. Now, even if all you expect to see on that bill is a late fee, it's important that you be certain that the fee is accurate based on the contract that you have with that company or organization. Now, ignoring your bills will never make them go away. You understand? They can't, like, I hate being behind in anything. I hate why I don't like the overdue bills, because it gets to the point where the late fees are compounded, and a lot of people don't understand that. And blindly paying those statements without reviewing them almost guarantees that you will either overpay for the goods and services at some point, right? Now, should you ever notice that the inaccurate charges or credits on any of your statements, you should contact the issuer. You should contact the issuer in in the billing department immediately. Now, the faster you move to correct the issue, the easier it is that it will be to either rectify it. Now, organization is important. Now, organizing those bills, whether to keep it in your date planner, store the information in your financial management software, or just file them in a regular manila folder, say something like this one. You understand? And just label it. This way, you will be organized and things would be in order. This way, you can just put your hand on whatever document it is that you may need at that time. Now, I can say that this simple step of organizing your bills will help ensure that no bills get overlooked or paid late, thus avoiding potential late fees, loss of service, or other penalties. Now, when it comes to paying those bills, this might seem like obvious advice, but I recommend, and I say I, but I mean we recommend that paying all bills before the due date. Why bother making like such suggestions? Why are you suggesting that we pay them before the due date? That's the same thing that the other organizations, whether it's the phone company, cable company, water company, uh, they all say the same thing. Well, many companies do not process payments on the date that it is received, and this can either sometimes get people into trouble with late fees. Why? Because it is the late fees, it gets compounded. Those late fees, when paying those expensive can expenses actually can really get you, backed up when it comes to paying your bills on time. So if you are paying your bills by mail, we suggest either mailing your payment in at least 7 business days before the due date. Now, this allows enough time for the post office to deliver your payment and for the company to process those payments. So if you are paying your bills online, we suggest that making payments at least 3 business days before the due date. This allows the company enough time to do what? To process the paperwork, to process and to post your payment to your account, that it was either paid in full, or to apply the payment to the balance. Okay. And on that note, thank you so very much. And yes, Renee, this is good advice. Thank you so very much. Because it helps you to keep organized. When you are organized, you're not running around looking for this document or that document. If you are keeping an electronic um, file, you understand, you can just open up that document and download the document. And on that note, that way everything is going to be at your fingertips. Okay. And I'll see you at the next session. All right. Thanks again and have a great week, everyone. And remember, one love. And I hope that you are enjoying the show. Okay, then.